OK，各位线上的同学午安哦。Hello everyone, good afternoon to you all. Today we have Senior English Revision class on this session. And now I will pass the time over to our teacher today, Miss Kek. Please welcome Miss Kek. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Vincent. Now, class, I know that my session is the last one, but please be with me. I have a co-host today, and she's Angie, and she will actually assist me because I want to focus in delivering whatever I can to all of you. Okay, so please relax and enjoy. All right. Now, today my topic is actually bombastic words for SUEC essays. I'm a senior teacher, and I'm actually from Fung Yu High School, Hulai. Now, Fung Yu has 3 schools. I'm from Hulai, okay? And I've been in schools for many years, actually, and this is my 25 or 26 years. I've lost count of it, okay? So anyway, I love English, and therefore, I'm still an English teacher till today, and I really hope that I can teach as long as I can, right? Not only to the age of 60, because English is actually a very beautiful language. You have to love the language in order to do well in your exam. Okay, now, if you don't love the language from young, then that is why you'll always don't do well in English. You don't love it. Okay, just like when you love somebody, then you will get married. You must have the passion there. But a lot of students, they do not have this passion. They will think that English is very difficult to master and all that. But you ought to know that SUEC means Senior UEC essays are really important. If you really want to get an A, you want to get good marks, essay is very important because it is 35 marks plus summary. So altogether it's 50 marks. If you don't do well in paper 1, definitely confirm your marks will go down, okay, will be reduced. So I try to help my students in essays, but I know that whenever I ask my students to write an essay, they will tell me, teacher, I don't know how to start, teacher, I don't know how to do this and that. Then that means we need to have some strategies. Okay, what are the strategies that we need to use? You have to write about 350 words, right? Okay, then maybe I can teach you some ways to write longer sentences and more beautiful sentences. In Malaysia, we like to use colloquial language like ma, lo, and all that. You always use that in Chinese, and then after that, you will put it in English as well. Okay. Have you eaten? Okay, I've eaten lo, ma. All this is actually colloquial language, and we don't want to see them in the essay. But because the students tend to translate. Now, why is that you cannot finish the essay on time and you feel that it's difficult to construct a sentence? Now, that is because you keep thinking in Chinese first. And why are you doing it? Because it's a habit to you. The first language that comes to your mind is Chinese. So what you should do is to create an English environment. You have to start speaking in English. If you start speaking in English a little by little a day, and definitely when it becomes a habit, your brain will start to think in English. And that will definitely save a lot of time. Confirm, trust me. Okay, so my students will tell me, I don't have time, I don't have time to speak English and all that. Then you try to create that time for yourself a day just by looking yourself at the mirror. And think about the topic. Maybe today I want to talk about friends. Tomorrow I want to talk about my parents. And next day I want to talk about my school. You try this way, okay? And then eventually, I'm sure you will be able to process faster so that your brain can think in English when you write English, okay? Now, today we are going to start off with types of essay. I know that a lot of students will when they talk about essays and all this, they'll feel a bit bored, okay? But I just have to let you know what are the essays that you need to learn before you go for your UBC, okay? Now, there are actually 5 types of essay: expository essay, causes and effects, persuasive essay, discuss, compare and contrast. But not all will come out every year, okay? So I always tell my students, expository essay is actually quite easy. It means ways to do something. Okay, now I'll just run very fast for this. Okay, now causes and effects are in Malay is like causes is like kenapa, And then effects is like, what is the results? The kesan, okay? I'm sorry, I don't use Chinese, okay? Because in the school, I don't speak Chinese to my students, okay? So it's all English, okay? And hope that you can understand. And then I'll try to use Bahasa Malaysia to explain, okay? Now the causes is Y, and then the effects are the results. So you see, causes got S right, effects also got S right. So if there is an S, that means to say that you need to give 2 plus 2. Okay, otherwise there won't be an S there. I know some teachers will say 2 plus 1 or 1 plus 2, but I think it would be better if you have 2 causes and 2 effects if the questions ask causes and effects because of the S. Okay, and then persuasive essay is like, do you agree kind of stuff. Okay, do you agree? What's your opinion? And that is called persuasive essay. And discuss. What are discuss? Discuss is like you talk about advantages and disadvantages. But sometimes it can be quite challenging because in UEC, they won't just give you advantages and disadvantages. Maybe they will use questions like pros and cons, pros and cons, or the benefits or the harm. Okay, so students must know which one is pros, which one is positive, which one is negative. So when you talk about pros is actually the advantages, and cons is the disadvantages. Okay, so of course, if they ask about both, then you have to write giving 2 advantages and 2 disadvantages. That means you have 6 paragraphs altogether. Okay. And then the last one, compare and contrast. Now, compare and contrast, if you don't know how to do compare and contrast, then don't do. Because compare and contrast, they don't talk about advantages and disadvantages. They talk about similarities and differences. I will go into this one by one. Okay, so I hope that you know that you just have to master these 5 kinds of essays, but not all 5 will be asked in each year. Okay, but I think every year they still ask expository essay, causes and effects. Persuasive is definitely one of it because we want to know your opinion. Okay, and discuss depends. Maybe they only ask about the advantages or disadvantages or both. Okay, as for compare and contrast, last 2 years they already asked compare and contrast. Okay, a lot of students will choose compare and contrast, but it's really very dangerous. Okay, I will tell you why is it dangerous. Okay, so far okay, right? Then we will go to the next slide then. Okay, now expository essay is how to do something or ways to do something. Okay, you will see questions like, I'm sure your teachers like to ask how to improve one's English, ways to reduce crime rate, ways to reduce carbon footprint, or solutions to cyberbullying, ways to promote unity among races. Okay, so for this kind of essay, it's actually information. Okay, so you just have to give 3 ways. You don't give more than that because you don't have the time. In paper 1, you only have 1 hour and 40 minutes. So I always tell my students, you spend at least about 30 minutes on summary. 30 minutes, not more than that. Because if you spend a lot of time on your summary, later you don't have time for your essay. And psychologically, it's always better to finish your summary first, then only you do your essay. The reason is, when you do your summary and then you finish it, so 1 task is gone, okay? You have completed 1 task already. Then you can focus writing in your essay. But if you want to write your essay first, you'll be writing your essay, but your heart will be thinking, I haven't finished my summary yet. So you cannot focus writing in the essay and then you won't do well. So why not we complete the easier task, which is summary first, spend about 25 to 30 minutes, and the rest of the time, just enjoy writing your essay. Okay, so this is one of the strategies that you need to take note of. Okay, right? So when it comes to ways, all this, you just tell me 3 ways. Just tell the teacher 3 ways. But remember, in this kind of essay, if we don't ask you like, do you think, there is a you in the question, okay? Or what's your opinion? Then in your essay, you are not supposed to give, my opinion is, I think that, no. Because this is factual. So you just have to give 3 ways. That's it. Okay? That one you have to write in your thesis statement. All right. Now we'll go to the next essay. Causes and effects. Now, causes and effects, like what they say, if they ask for causes and effects, then ask, right? So I would tell my students to use 2 causes and 2 effects. That means you have to write 6 paragraphs. But the problem is, do you have the time? If you don't have the time to write 6 paragraphs, then don't try. Okay, your time management is really very important. If you cannot manage your time properly, it's going to affect the quality or the proficiency. Okay, so that's why your grammar and all that will be haywired. Let's say if you don't have the time because you panic, you are anxious, right? So this one you really have to think properly because there's no time for you to do a U-turn after that. Okay, now causes and effects. Causes is why, and then effects are the results. Okay, the impacts. Sometimes you will see they don't use effects; they will use the word impacts, and then students like, hey, what are impacts? You know, they will be confused, and then. Or another word is the consequences. Okay, what are the consequences? The result of it. For example, if you smoke, okay, why do people smoke? That one is the causes, maybe because of stress and all that. Okay, then if the impacts will be the results. Okay, then they will have like lung cancer and this kind of stuff. Okay, so and then students will ask me, teacher, effects, do I have to write all positive or all negative? It depends. Okay, usually if you can find 2 positive and 1 negative, or 2 negative and 1 positive, then it's okay. All right, but it depends on the question. For example, if they talk about drugs, they talk about narcotics, there won't be any positive effects, right? You can't say that because people take drugs because then they can alleviate their stress, they can reduce their stress. No. Okay, we have to think logically. So it's better to have both, but if let's say you don't have, then you just use 3 positive or 3 negative. Okay, and then sometimes they ask about solutions. If they ask about solutions, then you write about solutions. You're going to create another paragraph for solutions. But if they didn't ask you about solutions, then you don't. Okay, so you always have to stick to the questions. What do they want actually? So in the first paragraph until the last paragraph, you have to stick to what they want. If it is causes, then just causes. That's all. Okay. If you want to write a little bit about the effects and solutions, it's okay. But just that sometimes we're afraid that you'll be out of the topic and you don't have that kind of time to write so much. Okay. So you have to plan what you want to write first. Okay. This is the second essay. Now you go to persuasive. In fact, for persuasive essay is something very important. It's very useful because especially when it comes to like IELTS, you know, or any kinds of international kind of exams, normally they will ask you about your opinion because you are old enough to give your own opinions. Okay, so you will see questions like, do you agree? What is your stand? What are your reasons? Class, you see there is the word you, there is the word your. And this is a time where you have to use I. Okay, you have to talk about I think that, my perspective is. Okay, so that's why just now the ways and causes and effects, if you don't ask for your opinion, then you don't write about your opinion. Okay, so we write everything in general. But when it comes to persuasive, yes, you have to make your stand. And your stand means you agree or disagree. Okay, in the first paragraph itself, you need to tell the teacher, okay, about the question, and their stand is very important. I agree. Sometimes you can use the word like, I absolutely agree, or I totally agree, or I strongly agree in your first paragraph. And then in your last paragraph, you have to repeat again. You have to repeat your again. For example, in the first paragraph, you use I absolutely. Then in your last paragraph, you use I strongly agree. Okay. And then if you don't agree, then you have to write disagree. Now, when you touch on persuasive essay, you are actually talking about reasons. Okay, you're actually talking about reasons. What are your reasons? Okay, so of course, the reasons that you give got to be logical, got to be acceptable also. Okay, so this one is about persuasive essay. We're very clear about that. Okay, now next one. Now, next one, we actually discussed, okay, discuss the advantages and disadvantages. I think since junior 1, you're given these kind of topics, okay, even in SPM, okay, part 2, they might just ask you about advantages and disadvantages, okay? And then sometimes they don't use the word advantages and disadvantages. They will use the word pros and cons, okay? So pros means something that is good, and then cons means it's bad, right? Then I'll always ask my students, social media and mass media. You know, when I ask, hey, class, what is social media? What is mass media? What are the differences? Okay, just remember, when it comes to social media, you have to connect to something with internet, like our Facebook, Instagram, this kind of thing is called social media. Okay, but when it is a mass media, it is like your newspaper, okay, TV and all this, where we don't really have to use an internet, okay? It's like in the conventional times, we use mass media more than social media. But at the meantime now, okay, in this era, okay, we normally use social media, okay? Like YouTube and all this, okay, we use social media, right? So you must know what are the differences between these two, okay? Next, we will go to compare and contrast. Now, this is the one, students, please do not try this if you don't know how to do this, okay? Because the two words that we want to see is similarities and differences. Similarities means what are the similar things about these two. Normally, we give you two things, two people or two countries, okay? In the first paragraph itself, you have to tell us what are the similarities, okay? And then you have to tell us what are the differences. For your similarities, you can give 3, 4, 5, and normally we write it in the second paragraph. We write it in the second paragraph. And as for your differences, you only give 2, very big difference, okay? So we normally like compare 2 countries, 2 schools, or 2 leaders, okay? For example, I talk about Malaysia and Singapore, okay? Malaysia and Singapore. So their similarities are, okay, they are Asian countries, okay? They are multiracial countries because they have Chinese, Indian, Malays, and then their culture, their food, their languages, everything is the same also. And when you talk about the location, okay, they are next to each other. They are just neighboring countries, okay? But as for the differences, then you can talk about their facilities and also maybe their living expenses. These two will be 2 paragraphs, okay, which is paragraph 3 and paragraph 4. Okay, so just remember your similarities, you put all in your second paragraph. So it can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 4, but cannot be 1 because TIES, right? And then differences, you only have to give 2. That's all. Then you have 5 paragraphs altogether because you have the opening and also the ending. Okay, now just remember you don't touch on advantages and disadvantages. Once you talk about advantages and disadvantages, you are out. You're out of the topic. So out of 35 marks, when you are out of the topic, then we minus all your grammar. I think the most you can get is less than 12. Sometimes, you know, in the past, many years ago, okay, if you're out of topic, you are only given 3 marks out of 35, okay? Can't give you 0 because you wrote something, okay? So class, I know that these questions will be very attractive. Usually a lot of students will choose this question, but just remember, 2 words, similarities and differences, you must write them in your essay, okay? And you need to contrast. What is contrast? Contrast means when you talk about the facilities, you have to talk about, let's say the Malaysia and Singapore, for example, you have to talk about Malaysia, what are the facilities there? And also, after that, you have to talk about Singapore. So if you talk about Malaysia only, that means you didn't contrast. So you're going to lose a lot of marks here. A lot of students, they don't know. They just write like Singapore is better than Malaysia because they have MRT, mass rapid transit, and then they have better schools and all this, okay? But they don't talk about Malaysia. So in this way, you're actually out already. So don't try if you don't know, all right? Okay. Now I'm going to bombastic words, okay? How to use bombastic words to help you score well in your essays. They are not really bombastic words, but they are just more beautiful expressions, okay? So far, is there any questions? Because I wouldn't know if you don't know, if you don't understand anything, you can always ask me, okay, now, or maybe you can ask me later, okay? Let me see. If there is none, then we shall go to bombastic words, okay? Okay. In the school, some of my students will call me Miss Bombastic, okay? Because I always tell them, hey, you must use bombastic words, you know, whenever you're in the class. I don't speak Chinese to my students in the class, okay? Because I want to create an English speaking environment in my school. Okay, so the students, when they get used to my style of teaching, they will try their best to use English, but otherwise they'll be punished. Okay, I will punish them to do a public speaking in the class. Okay, so bombastic words is important because it shows a person's proficiency. You always say standard, okay, but we normally use the word proficiency. Okay, now, for example, you say, I want to know new friends. Okay. A lot of students will say, I want to know new friends, or I want to get new friends. Okay. Then you only got 6 words. Okay. Why not you try to change the sentence to more high class a bit? Okay. By saying, I hope to get to know people from all walks of life, regardless of age, gender, or race. Imagine if you were to write this in your essay, this will definitely raise the proficiency of your English, okay? And then you count how many words there are, okay? I think there are about 17 or 18 words compared to the 6 words that you have given. No? It's also important when you speak to someone in English, okay? For example, your friend will ask you, hey, why do you like this? Why do you like that? Okay? Then the student will say, I like la. Okay, I like la, or I like law, I like la, cannot me. Okay, so in order to increase the proficiency, okay, to beautify the language, so sometimes why not you just say, it's just a matter of preference. Okay, it's just a matter of preference, because you can actually show that, you know, you're actually using a more high class words. I know when you talk to your friends like this, then your friend would get angry and then, what do you mean by it's just a matter of preference? Okay, so then they will say you're trying to show off. But in the essay, you really need to use better words. It is just a matter of preference. Okay, right? So there's a it is there in front. Okay, it is just a matter of preference means that, well, I like it. Okay, but of course, when you talk to your good friends, then you don't do that. Otherwise, you get a slap from them. Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay, now I hope to get to know people, because a lot of students will also write recognize a lot of friends. No, you cannot use the word recognize many friends. Okay, recognize is after 10 years later, then you still can recognize your friends, you still can recognize your teachers. That is recognize. You use the word get to know. Okay, people from all walks of life means all kinds of people. So you will write many people, many kinds of people. Why not you write people from all walks of life? Regardless of age, that means you don't care how old your friends are, how many years old, whether they are more senior than you or maybe are younger than you. You don't care whether they are boy or girl, okay? You don't care whether they are Chinese, Indian, or Malays, okay? Because we are not supposed to choose our friends from the color of skin, okay? We cannot be so ethnocentric. Okay, so try to remember this one, and maybe you don't use I hope to get to know. Maybe you can say that we can get to know. Okay, for example, if I were to give you a topic like taking up a part-time job. Taking up a part-time job, you get to know people from outside school, right? Okay, so there are actually people from all walks of life, all kinds of jobs. Understand? Okay, now I'll go to the next one. Now, students will write, we can know many things. What do you mean by many things? Okay, so if you really want to write like you can learn a lot of stuff, okay, then maybe you write, we can broaden our horizon. Okay, broaden our horizon means that you are more exposed. Okay, you get to know, you get to learn a lot of things that is not from the textbook. Okay, that is not from the textbook. Otherwise, it will be very limited. Your knowledge will be very limited if it is just from the textbook, isn't it? Okay, so you just write, I hope to broaden my horizon. You can put it in your TC statement actually. Like you say, basically, okay, one of the advantages of taking up a part-time job is to broaden my horizon. Okay, this is one of it. Okay, or maybe if you don't want to write to broaden my horizon, you can write better exposure. Okay, better exposure. When you use the word exposure, means you are exposed. Okay, you are exposed, and then exposure. Okay, that means you get to know a lot of things also. You get to learn a lot of things also. You are exposed to all fields. Okay, you are exposed to all to people from all walks of life, and that's how you actually increase, okay, enhance, or just improve on what you know, okay, your knowledge wise. Okay, now I'm going to the third one. Okay, now my students always tell me like I can make more friends. Yeah, it's true, you can make more friends, but when you talk about friends, then we are actually referring to our social circle. Okay, social circle, not social cycle, a social circle. And in this way, we actually widen our social circle. For example, if you were to study in a university next time, maybe we can change the word. Okay, I don't want to use the word university. We can always change it to tertiary institution. Okay, tertiary institution. How to spell? TER TIA-RY. Okay, RY, and then institution. Okay, so this is actually for universities lah. Then you can say that, well, we can actually study in a better tertiary institution or earn a better degree from a reputable or famous tertiary institution. This is actually bombastic words. Okay, on and off, I will try to introduce as many as possible because there are really too many of it. So remember, you actually can widen your social circle, especially when you are exposed to other areas, okay, not just in school. Like in the school, maybe you are engaged in co-curricular activities, you know, co-curricular activities like our school on Saturdays, you will join your club, right? Your societies. There are all kinds of students also from all ages, correct? Junior 1, Junior 2, Junior 3, okay? You can actually widen your social circle there also. That means you can actually get more friends. Now, we need to have friends, okay? I always tell my students, we need to have friends. Why? If you can try to put some peribahasa in your essay, this will also help you in your essay. Okay, we always say we need to have friends because no man is an island. Okay, because nobody can live like an island. How can you live yours on your own like this? Okay, we need to have friends. We need somebody to talk to. Remember during the COVID-19 pandemic, you know, they can go out to socialize with anybody. It's quite suffering, isn't it? Okay, so whenever we talk about friends, then we say, oh, we need to make more friends. Okay, we need to widen our social circle because no man is an island. So if you can actually combine all this together, then you get more words and you actually raise the proficiency, your proficiency as well. No man is an island, not Island. Some of my students will say Island. No, it's island, island. Okay. Now we go to the next one. Okay, I hope you are taking notes, like if you are with me. Okay, all right. Convenience. Now this word, I don't know why a lot of students don't know how to spell one. They always say VINIENT or ENC. They always think of VI. It's not VI, it's VE. Okay, as long when you can save a lot of time in your thesis statement, you just write convenience. That's all. Normally, thesis statement, we use kata nama, we use a noun, okay? So we say, because of convenience. So that means you can save a lot of time. For example, nowadays, you don't have to go to the post office to pay your bills and all this because you can actually pay online, okay? Then one of the advantages will be convenience, okay? Now, how to use ENT? ENT is an adjective. So unless your sentence is like, oh, it's very convenient, that is NIENT. Usually the CE is a noun, okay? It's a kata nama. Then we say because of convenience, because of its convenience, ITS and all this, okay? Then you have to use kata nama. You have to use a noun, okay? Now, just now I used the word very. A lot of students, they like to use the word very also. Next time, maybe you can try to use the word extremely, okay? Extremely, EXTREMELY, okay? Then it actually, you see, more high class a bit really, instead of using a very, okay? Right? So we go to the next one. Well, this one, if you can, I hope that you can try to memorize this one. Dissemination of misleading information. What does it mean actually? It means spread fake news. When we disseminate means you pass this news to another person, and another person will pass to another person. This is called dissemination. Okay, you're passing around. And then fake news. There are all kinds of fake news, right? So that's called misleading information, especially during the pandemic. There are a lot of fake news where we cannot verify the authenticity. Okay, we cannot think, we won't know whether it's true or not. Especially when governments releases the news or maybe they announce something and people will just try to quote the information and cause it to become a misleading information. In English, when you see the word MIS, it's always a negative connotation. It means something that is negative, something that is bad. So when we say misleading, means it will mislead you, you will misunderstand, you will have the wrong conception. Okay, and then information, make sure there's no S, okay, because information is supposed to be uncountable. If you want to say many, that is wrong. Okay, if you're not sure whether you should use many or not, okay, one advice, just use a lot of. Okay, because when you use a lot of, it can be singular, it can be plural also. Then you won't be making any grammar mistakes like this. A lot of. Okay. All right. So remember this word, dissemination of misleading information. Okay. It can be very dangerous because you are spreading the wrong information. So next time, don't share if you are not sure about the authenticity. That means how original the information is, whether it's true or not. We need to verify. Okay. Verify. Okay. verify. Okay. So this one you can use in your essay, okay, to find out whether it's true or not. Okay. Now, next. Okay. Stress because of friends. Now, in the thesis statement for essay, you just have to write stress. For thesis statement, you just write stress first, okay? You don't have to write what stress is that. Because stress can be categorized into many kinds of stress. Well, if the stress comes from your friend, we always use peer pressure. But peer pressure means that because of your friends, then you will do it. Or because of your friends, then you won't do it. That's called peer pressure. It can be positive, it can be negative. Okay. Peer means people who are about same age with you. That's called peer. Okay. For example, some students, they will study very hard, okay, because they need to compete with their friends in the class. So this is called peer pressure. Okay, some people, they will go into bad habits, they'll pick up some bad habits, okay, because of their friends. Their friends say smoking is cool, okay, so they will learn how to smoke also. This is also peer pressure, okay, so these are actually stress. But for stress, we can actually categorize them into a few. So I'm going to list out now, okay, what are that few? Now, a lot of students, especially at the moment, those senior 3 students, you know, there'll be countdown, I think about 20 over days more, okay, to our graduation exam in my school, okay, and to this UEC exam. They will be under a lot of stress. Yes, you write under a lot of stress, okay? You don't say you have a lot of stress. Then if you want to change this sentence to more bombastic a bit, you can say under tremendous stress, okay? Under tremendous stress. When we say DOUS, tremendous stress means it's a lot of stress, okay? Then you actually beautify the sentence a bit. But what kind of stress? If students will have stress because of exams, because of tests, right? I'm sure you have a lot of tests, you know, in Chinese independent schools, we actually prepare a lot of tests for students, not only one subject, but so many subjects, right? So all this kind of stress from your exams, we call them academic stress, okay? Academic stress, okay? So, and then you always say face academic stress, or you can say encounter, okay? Don't use the word, I have stress. Why not you change it to I encounter a lot of stress, I face a lot of stress, that would be better, okay? There are many words you can actually change to more beautiful, okay? So it's not that you have to memorize the whole model essay and then go for the exam. No, we just have to use some tactics, okay, some strategies, like we use some of the bombastic words here and there, and then we put in our essay just to make it look more beautiful, okay? But what about working people? We don't say working people actually, okay? We call them working adults, like your father, your mother, okay? Or maybe they have already graduated. They are under a lot of stress also, okay? But their kind of stress can be job stress, okay? JOB, okay? Can be job stress. So because, you know, they have a lot of responsibilities, they have a lot of commitments, okay? Now, class, do you know what are commitments, okay? Commitments means that they have a lot of things they need to pay every month, correct? Like your father and mother, okay? They will have a housing loan, they will have car loan, okay? So all these become a stress to these working adults because they have to pay, okay? It can be tremendous as well. And if they cannot handle, you know, the outcome, the results, the effects of it, it's really can be catastrophic, can be very terrible, okay? Maybe that's why we see people having suffering from depression, okay? Or they will have a lot of mental stress, okay? So stress, just remember there are this peer pressure and also job stress, or you can just write it as stress, okay? And just now I mentioned mental stress, right? Okay, it's because mentally they're under a lot of stress. It can be because of all kinds of reasons. Okay, all right, now next. Yeah, I want you to remember this word facilities, okay? Facilities is very important. It's because when you tackle questions like why a lot of people, they will prefer to study in a more developed countries, okay? That is because of the facilities are much better than our countries. Definitely they are better than our countries, right? In terms of what? When you talk about facilities in other countries, you can talk about transportation, you can talk about education, and then you can talk about hospital, but we're not going to write hospital there, okay? We can write something system, okay? What system is that? That is called healthcare system, okay? We can talk about healthcare system. So all these will be the facilities, okay? Healthcare systems. And then another one, if I mentioned about education there, then you can talk about tertiary institutions like these. A lot of people, they prefer to work at this, to study in Singapore, or maybe because the NTU, the NUS are there. These are called facilities. Okay, but when you talk about school, then you talk about the field. You write about the field, the canteen, the lab, the classrooms, the smart board, air conditioner. All these are actually facilities. Okay, so when you write this in your essay, there are so much you can write about. There will be one paragraph of that facilities. Okay, all right. Now, let's go to the next one. Yeah, this one is what I mentioned just now, okay, which is academic stress, stress from exams or school, okay? But sometimes the stress can come from your friends also. For example, one kind of issue that you actually face in school, like bullying, bullying. Now, when this question is asked, okay, bullying, there are two types. You have to identify whether it is physical bullying, physical kind of bullying. That means you are bullied in the school, or you're bullied somewhere and it's face to face. Okay, so, and then the other one will be online bullying, or sometimes we call it cyber bullying. Okay, so sometimes we don't write online bullying, we write cyber bullying. I always ask my students, which one is more torturing? Okay, which one is more terrible? Then the answer would be cyberbullying, because it's 24/7. That means it can happen anytime, anywhere. Yeah, anytime, anywhere. Please don't write anytime, anywhere in your essay. Okay. I'll scroll back to the previous slide. Okay, we go to the previous slide then. Okay, you mean this one, facilities? Yeah, so you want to write all this, is it? But I actually can share all this later. Okay. But in the thesis statement, okay, it would be possible. It would be better if you write TY . You write TY in the thesis statement, because we are introducing a topic, a reason why. So you write TY. But when you explain that time, then you can talk about a lot of facilities, all kinds of facilities. Okay? Can? Maybe a bit fast, okay? Because I only got 1 hour plus. But never mind, later you can add me if let's say you want to know anything. Okay? In Facebook, you can look for Vanessa. Okay? Can I go to the next slide already? Yes, okay. Now, oh no, we have to go back to the bullying first. Okay, physical bullying and cyber bullying. Okay, bullying has been asked before in UVC. Okay, now cyberbullying is more torturing. Okay, it's more terrible because it's 24/7. Okay, but if the questions come out cyberbullying and then you go and write about physical bullying, that means you get bullied in the school and all this, then you're out of the topic already. Now, in the exam for essays, you must know every word. You must understand the meaning of every word. I always tell my students, if you don't understand that particular word in the topic, then you don't try. You don't take it as a gamble. Maybe it's like that. Okay, because I remember a few years back, there was a question about, what is that already? Baby dumping. All right, the question is baby dumping. And then the students, when they write, they don't know what baby dumping is. They think that it's abortion. Okay, yeah. Basically, they are almost the same, but it's just that when they explain that time, they will have problems. Okay, because baby dumping is when they deliver the baby and then they just dump the baby somewhere. Okay, but abortion will be different. Okay, because that one is before the baby is due, and then they go for abortion. So it's different. So when it comes to explaining, we will know whether the student understands the topic or not. If you don't understand and you take it as a gamble, in the end, you may suffer. Okay, you're going to lose a lot of marks. You are out of topic. Just like when I ask you my father, and then you go and write my mother. Your marks will straight away cut half, okay? And then we have to cut some more, okay, your grammar mistakes and everything we have to deduct. And then that is why you don't do well in the essay then. And of course, you won't get an A for your English, definitely. Okay? So physical bullying, cyberbullying, and then we have all kinds of bullying, like verbal bullying, okay? Sometimes people just say something to make you sad, verbal, yeah, okay, verbal kind of bullying. So it can be very stressful also, okay? All right, so this one has been asked before already in the UEC exam, okay? Now, we'll go to the next one. Yeah, okay, class. Problem. When I ask my students to write essay, they will write problem. Why don't you change the word problem to something else? You can change to issue. You can change to challenges, okay? You have a lot of challenges, okay? And then I don't want to use, for example, money problem. I don't have to use the word money. I can use financial, okay? So of course, you can use the word encounter. Remember just now I told you, encounter or face all kinds of issues in your life, right? Okay? And then you just try to change it to issues or challenges, okay? Then why do we have problems in our life? Maybe you can come up with peribahasa. You can come up with a proverbs, because life is not a bed of roses. Life, L-I-F-E, right, is not a bed, B-E-D, of roses. Yeah. That means 365 days, you can't be happy every day, right? There's definitely full of ups and downs, okay? Our life is like a roller coaster, right? Today we are happy, tomorrow we are not happy. So we say life is not a bed of roses, okay? Or sometimes we can say life is unpredictable, correct? No one knows what's going to happen later, okay? Therefore, we need to face a lot of challenges in our life, okay? And if we can solve all these issues in our life, then we'll be back to normal already. Otherwise, we will be under a lot of stress. We will be under tremendous stress. So you see, I'm actually trying to use all those words that I have shared just now so that you can remember. Then my student is like, every time when I write essays, then I have to I'll take the opportunity to repeat that word again, okay, so that they can remember, right? Okay, so life is unpredictable. I think we have a lot of issues in life, not only financial problems, right? Okay, we can have relationship problem, correct? Not okay, like teenagers, right? We have friends problems and all this, and relationship problems. Okay, we'll have disciplinary problems, right? Disciplinary problems means like some students, they will create some problems in the school, right? They will have disciplinary problem, okay, C-I, okay, P-L-I-N-A-R-Y, yeah? So must know how to spell correctly, okay? Then if you don't want to use the word problem, then you use issue, okay? I hope that you can actually tell me, let's say if I'm too fast, because I can't really see you, okay? And then, actually under a lot of stress also. Have to share with so many students. Okay, there are so many better teachers, like just now Wendy, she's really a great teacher. Okay, she has been sharing for quite a few years. Okay, all right, so we shall continue to the next one. During the pandemic, this one is the most serious issue. Cheat online. Okay, so we call it online scams. So there are a lot of scams, okay? Why do people scams? I think these questions, it was asked in the essay also, okay? Why do people get scammed, or why do people scam, okay? There are also the reasons, okay? There are a lot of causes and effects for this, and what are the solutions? Now, class, when you think about solutions, please don't just think about what the government should do, okay? You should think about a lot of people. For example, disciplinary problems. You don't just think about what the teacher should do or what the school, cannot say school, I must say school, the management of the school. Or maybe we use school authority. Because when you say school should do this, school has no hands and legs. Okay, so we just say the management of the school. Okay, they get 5 words already. Or the school authorities. Okay, can be TIS or TY lah. Okay, let's say this one, right? Okay. So when you talk about ways, don't just think about one person only, one party only. Disciplinary actions. You can also talk about the parents, right or not? You can also talk about the teachers. You can talk about the friends. Okay. So I just want you to think out of the box a bit. Whenever we ask about ways, then students will only think about government. That's all. Okay. Other parties are not involved at all. Think out of the box. Out of the box means you have to give me not the stereotype answers. Okay. For example, my idol. Let's say the question is my idol. There are a lot of people will think about the celebrities, they think about Blackpink or whoever, BTS and all this, okay, their idols. But why don't you think about your father or your mother, okay, or maybe your sister? They can be your idols also. Okay, so there is no right and wrong for this, okay, but the most important is how you explain in your essay. Okay, now let's come back to the online scams here. Okay, so the person who scam you, we call them scammer, right? Okay, there are a lot of scammers, and then they scam because of I think it's because of greed. Usually it's because of greed, GREED. Okay, people get cheated. Okay, the victims they are cheated is because of greed also. Okay, sometimes they want more. That's why they get scammed. Or maybe they want to save more. They think that this is a very good deal. That's why they get cheated. Okay, so online scams. There is another word which you can write also, is besides writing a scam, okay, we can write it's a fraud. FRAUD. Okay, it's fraud. AUD. Okay, so the person who commit this will call fraudster. Okay, a fraudster is also someone like scammer. Okay, they will try to scam you to get whatever they want. Okay, a fraudster is the person, a scammer is the person. Okay, but when it comes to a kata nama, the crime is then it's a scam or fraud. Okay, and sometimes we will receive some messages, right? Okay, and then we are advised not to open the link or anything. These are messages, but they are not misleading information. They are actually messages telling you that you have won something and ask you to get something. Okay, that one we call fraudulent messages. Fraudulent. Okay, FRAUDULENT. Okay, DULENT. Remember this word. Okay, better than you write some fake messages or whatever. Okay, some scamming messages. You use this as fraudulent messages. You have to be aware of this because that's how the scammers do it. They become more tech savvy nowadays, right? Okay. During the pandemic, we have to use online class, and then we have to use Google. We have to improve our technological skills and all this. So the scammers also the same. Okay, they become more tech savvy. Okay. All right. Now we will go to the next one. Yeah. Why a lot of people, they want to go to abroad to work, because there are more jobs there. No, you don't write more jobs, okay? You can change because there are better job opportunities. Instead of using the word chance, next time, just change it to opportunities, okay? Job opportunities, or if I want to make it a better word, okay, to beautify the word job, I can also change it to another word. Employment opportunities. More bombastic, right? Better than you write more jobs. Okay, like a lot of in Johor. Okay, I'm a Johorian, so a lot of Johorians actually they will just go to Singapore to work because there are better employment opportunities there. Okay, so employment no S. Okay, because so normally when we have an S behind already, then we don't have S in front. Okay. So there are better employment opportunities. Got it? And since I touched the word employment, okay, what about no job? During the pandemic, a lot of people lost their job, right? So we can say that what is one of the effects of COVID-19 pandemic? No jobs, right? So we can actually change it to unemployment. Okay, this will be a problem. This is a social problem, unemployment, and it will connect to a lot of issues. For example, what we have learned just now, financial issue. It will connect to stress, right? And sometimes some people, they will even have like, they will suffer from some kind of sickness like depression and all this, okay? They will have mental issues or physical health issues, okay? So, got it, huh? Now, we will go to the next one. Always feeling sad. Because they have a lot of issues in life. Life is not a bed of roses, okay? So when you cannot overcome your sadness, let's say every day you are sad, let's see whether you got these symptoms or not. Always sad, always cry, always get angry for nothing. There may be symptoms that you are suffering from depression, okay? Depression is actually a mental illness, okay? A mental illness with all these kind of symptoms that these people, they may not be happy all the time, okay? And they just get sad, they just cry for no reason, okay? So if you're having these kind of symptoms, you have to beware, okay? Optimism is very important. I know it's easier said than done, okay? But when someone is depressed, then we need to give them a lot of encouragement, a lot of motivation. So when you talk about suffering from depression, this is actually an effect. This is an effect of bullying, maybe, okay? Maybe it's an effect of unemployment because they can't fulfill all their commitments. You got it? Okay, so this one will be one of the reasons, okay? Okay, now we'll go to next one. Yeah, you know, beginning of the class, beginning of this lesson, I did mention the word proficiency, correct? Because a lot of students say, teacher, my English is very poor, okay? My standard is very low. Don't use the word standard, use the word proficiency, okay? We need to raise our proficiency in English, okay? Do not be afraid to speak English. I know it's very difficult, especially if you don't have an environment. But I always tell the people around me, when you don't have something, please create it. Okay, you create an environment for yourself. You just speak for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, you speak to your pets, okay? If nobody is listening to you, you speak to the mirror for 1 minute a day and make it a habit to raise your proficiency in English. Of course, you need to incorporate it with other skills as well, because English, we have 4 skills, right? We have listening skill, we have writing skill, reading skill, all this, okay? So you can actually read, okay? Read in English. Now, I know that all these advices your teachers have been given you, but I feel that the most important is you must have the passion. You have got to love English first. Then you are able to do all these things. Ask yourself, do you love English? The answer is no. That's why, okay? You don't like English. You don't like to learn at all. Okay, change your mindset a bit because it's really an important language. All right? Okay. So we use high proficiency or low proficiency. You can't say no proficiency, yeah? Cannot use the word no. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Now, last paragraph, my students always ask me, teacher, how to write the last paragraph? Now, in your last paragraph, you are supposed to like go to the topic again, go to the question again, okay? Put one peribahasa, put one proverbs. Okay, then a lot of students will say, I do something before it is too late. Why not we change it to like this? You can count how many words I have here. Okay, you can say, as the saying goes. Now, class, if you want to use as the saying goes, okay, you make sure you have a comma and then you have an open and close inverted comma. Okay, and then you don't say, as the saying goes, prevention is better than cure. Then bye-bye. No, you are supposed to explain why you want to use this proverb. Okay, so you always say, so we need to take the initiative. That means you need to take the steps to overcome this issue. Do you know that besides the word settle, you always say settle this problem, right? Why not you use the word overcome? There are other words also. Let me teach you. You can say curb, C-U-R-B, or maybe we can use the word address. Let's say it's a very big problem. Okay, the country must address the problem, A-D-D-R-E-S-S. But remember, address is more for bigger problems. Let the country address it then. Okay, they will settle it. And then maybe sometimes you'll say to tackle the problem, T-A-C-K-L-E. So, or maybe we can say think of a better solution. think of a better solution to overcome this issue. Okay. Yeah. So you see, this is how you add on, okay, make it longer, but not too long, of course, one sentence and then one paragraph. Oh, no, cannot lah. Okay. This is how you can actually lengthen the sentence and then make it more beautiful, and then you earn more marks. Okay. Overcome this issue. Just like I told you, right? Don't use problems all the time. And then maybe you can write before it leads to dire consequences. Okay. It means before the situation become too terrible. Okay, so you try to like memorize some of the words here, and then you put it in your last paragraph. If it matches that, of course, it depends on the topics. Okay, then you'll be able to do it. Definitely, this will end your essay in a better way. Okay, I give you some time. Maybe you want to take a look at it, or maybe you want to copy. Actually, you can just digitalize it. You can just take a photo. Okay, then you can get what you want easily already. Okay. All right, I have some chats here. Let me see. Okay, all right. No messages yet, huh? If you have anything, you can ask me, okay, before I end the session later. All right. Shall we go to the next one? Is there a next one? The Q&A session. Okay. Now, the Q&A session is there any questions you want to ask me or not? I didn't go through the formats. The format is like, you must have thesis statement. Yeah. Now, class, thesis statement is very important. Whenever we mark the compositions, sometimes we realize that there's no thesis statement. Then the students will be asking, teacher, what is thesis statement? Thesis statement in Malay, if I want to translate, is isi penting. What are your important isi? So let's say I want to talk about effects. I want to talk about effects of bullying. Then, of course, you have to give me 3 effects, right? You have to give me 3 effects. One of the effects will be like mental stress, okay? Number 2 will be a loss of confidence. Maybe you don't have confidence. And then number 3 is maybe you would develop antisocial behavior. That means you don't want to like talk to people and all this, okay? You want to be alone all the time. So these 3 will be your thesis statement. Okay, you must write these 3 points in your first paragraph, the last line, and also to repeat in your last paragraph. So sometimes when we mark, we cannot find the thesis statement. Okay, the students only write, I shall highlight the effects of bullying in my essay. Okay, then full stop already. Then they go to second paragraph, they explain, third paragraph, they explain, fourth paragraph, they explain. But if you don't give us the thesis statement, you lost a lot of marks, because the format marks is 8 marks, and we're going to cut your marks from there. So since you know that it's so important, whether you like it or not, you must write. Okay, first paragraph, the last line. Sometimes you can start with basically the ways to what are what. Then you give the 3 points. Okay, basically the effects of what are what. Then you give the 3 points. Okay, when you write about thesis statement, you don't write dan lain, and so on, because you are requested to write the 3 points. So for example, you write A, B, and C. This is your 3 points. Okay, you don't write A, B, C, and so on. Okay, and many more. Don't use many more. Okay, you can write and so on and so forth, or just to name a few, this kind of things. Okay, but never write that in your thesis statement. All right. Okay. So are there any questions so far? You can ask me. Yeah. No questions, yeah. Never mind. Then I will show you something. Okay, I'll show you something. That is the next one. Thesis statement, is it? Okay. Yeah. No. Actually, I have one short exercise, okay? Then that would be a thesis statement. So it actually includes some of the words that I have shared today. Okay, some of the words that I shared today. Can you see that? Yes, this is thesis statement. Okay, so you see, there are 22 questions altogether. Okay, some of it maybe I didn't touch. Okay, but I'll just go a very fast one just to make you remember. Okay. But if you think you want to write down the answer at the chat, you can write down also. Okay. So remember, In the essay, try not to say make a lot of friends. Okay, what should we say then? Anybody want to try? Or maybe you missed that part just now, is it? Remember? You're right? Ah, clever. But it's broaden, huh? Okay? Broaden. B-R-O-A-N-G. Maybe you can just type, okay? Broaden our horizon. A good try. A1. Your name is A1. Okay. Learn a lot. Learn a lot. Don't write learn a lot, huh? Learn what? Okay? So, oh, sorry. Make a lot of friends should be widen our social circle. I make a mistake here. Okay, A1, learn a lot should be broaden our horizon, and then make a lot of friends is actually widen our social circle. Okay, then learn a lot is broaden our horizon. Okay. Then the next one, friends influence. Friends influence. A1 or not? Don't write friends influence, write something else. Peer what? Okay. Yeah, clever. Peer pressure, that's right. Okay. Money problem. Next time, don't use the word problem. Everybody also use problem. We change. Okay, we try to use other words. Financial issue. Okay, clever. Financial issue. Okay. Full stop. Okay, next one. Sickness or diseases. How? What we want to write for thesis statement? Sickness or diseases. Illness. We can actually use issue also, but what issue are they? Sickness, diseases, or cannot use colloquial language, okay? Sickness, diseases, all this, we can actually write health issue. You just write health issue enough already, okay? Then you have, this one normally we use for a healthcare issue. If it is healthcare, then it would be like hospitals, facilities, and all that, healthcare system, okay? So we write health issue would be okay already, like depression and all that, okay? Cannot manage stress. You know, when they cannot manage stress, then they'll be very, that means they have this problem. They have this skill problem. What skill is that? You know, we have many kinds of skill. Can you share with me what skill we have? Like I talk to you, you talk to me. This is called communication skill, right? When you talk about how you save money, how you spend money, that is called financial management skill. Then if you cannot manage your stress, then what skill is this? 3 words. Then you can put in your thesis statement. Start with poor. Okay, then it's a skill, right? Then will be poor stress management. Okay, skill. They cannot manage their stress, so they be under a lot of stress. You don't know how to unwind. Okay, you don't know how to alleviate your stress. Don't say release your stress. You're not a balloon, okay? You release your stress, okay? Alleviate your stress. It's A-L-L-E-V-I-A-T-E, okay? Alleviate your stress. So we use this one, okay? It's better than you use release your stress. So this answer will be poor stress management, okay? Skill, can use that, okay? Lack of stress management skill, something like that. You can use that also, okay? Now, save time. Just now we learned already, right? Save time. We can save a lot of time. We don't have to go to the post office now. We don't have to pay our bills. We don't have to go to the bank. So what do we write in our thesis statement? Just one word will do already. Then after that, you explain what is that. Clever, convenient. But in the thesis statement, we try to use kata nama. We try to use noun. Okay, if you use noun, then all noun. Okay, convenience. V-E-N-I-E-N-C-E. Okay, we try to use C-E. Unless your one is adjective, then all adjective. Okay. All right, able to arrange or change your time easily. You know, during the online class, we can change our time. So what do you call this? We can just use one word to show that we can change our time easily. It starts with F. Who want to try? Start with F. Flexibility. Okay, this A1 is really clever. Flexibility. Okay, B-I-L-I, right? B-I-L-I-T-Y, correct. Okay, so due to the flexibility. Right, next one, can save money. Save money. Then what you want to write? You're not going to write save money, right? Maybe we can write It's more cost effective. Okay, maybe it's you can use the word cost effective, COST, and then effective, TIVE. It's more economical. It depends on the questions on what is that. Okay. Now, transport, healthcare, university. We learned this, right? Okay. So whenever you say, oh, another country is better, okay, because of their what? So what's the answer? Facilities. Okay, great, facilities. But in the thesis statement, then we try to use TY only. Okay, because we take it as a topic subject. Okay. Now, spread fake news or information. Very bombastic. If you can write this, I'll give you extra marks. Okay. Spread fake news and information. Misleading what? That means I pass to somebody, pass. Misleading. Dissemination of cleverance. Okay, clever. Okay, dissemination of misleading information. Okay. Misleading information. Dissemination got to be in front. Okay. Dissemination of misleading information. So you just try to remember like this one, then you put inside your thesis statement. But of course, it must match. Misleading information, no S. Okay. This one I think I didn't mention just now. Poor result. Don't use the word result. Everybody also use the word result. Anybody want to try or not? Actually, there are 3 words. We can say poor, and then you're talking about school, right? Classes and all that's right. Okay, so poor what? Academic performance, MIC. Poor academic performance is how you perform in the school. Your results, right? So if your result is really fantastic, or A1 and all this, that one is outstanding academic performance. Okay? Now, dangerous. So if it is a thesis statement, then maybe we can just say that like for example, why must you bring a handphone to school? Okay, that's because it's dangerous. Okay, maybe we can say because of safety issue, right? When you write the safety issue there, then after that you can actually explain because it's very dangerous if you don't bring a handphone to school. Some students will argue like this, right? So this is because of safety issues. That's why they're allowed to bring their mobile phone. I cannot say handphone. Handphone is when you talk like that. Okay, but when you write, then you say you have to write mobile phone, MOBILE, mobile phone. Don't use handphone. Okay, more jobs. You learned this just now, right? More jobs. More what? Or better what? Job opportunity. That's right, clever. Okay, better job opportunities. But in the thesis statement, then you write TY because you're introducing a thesis statement, a topic, so you don't need to use IES. Okay. Now, practice 3 R's. This is to be what? Why we need to practice 3 R's? Okay, so maybe this one you can say we have to be more environmental friendly. Okay, environmental friendly means that you need to practice the 3 R's like reduce, reuse, and all. When you talk about an environmental issue, okay, environmental friendly. Okay, of course it is a noun, then environmental friendliness lah. Okay, environmental friendly. Friendly, there are many friendly one, For example, if let's say the phone is very easy to use, then we just say user friendly, very easy to use, user friendly. Okay. All right. Next one. Internet not stable. During the online class, my student will tell me, teacher, no internet. Teacher, internet broke down. Okay. How to beautify this word? Anybody want to try or not? Internet not stable. Yeah, you have to use the word internet. You can't change this. Okay. But we can change the not stable to something, to one noun. Not stable to one word. Internet, unstable. Can change to kata nama or not? Can change to noun or not? In, internet interruption. Okay, can also. Or we can say internet instability. Okay, STABILITY, okay, or you can use unstable internet lah, okay, internet instability, internet interruption, okay, can, no problem, internet. Okay, next one, do not know how to use the devices. During the COVID, I always have to use during the COVID time because people become they know a lot of how to use the devices, but a lot of people until today, they still cannot use devices properly. They cannot use the smartphone. They don't know how to use WhatsApp. They don't know how to use YouTube and all this, okay? So what are we going to write for this? Who want to try? You don't know how to use the devices. You're not going to write this in your thesis statement, right? Digital. This one is under digital illiteracy. ILLITERACY. Okay, a topic is digital illiteracy. This is a noun. Okay, digital illiterate. Illiterate means you don't know how to read ABCD. But when it's digital illiteracy, digital illiterate means that you don't know how to use the devices. You don't know how to use the digitalized devices. Okay, all right. No job. Just now I mentioned to you, right? No job. One word. So one of the effects of COVID-19. Clever. Unemployment. Okay, very good. Okay. Very poor. Can we just write very poor? Poverty. Poverty stricken. Clever. Okay, so we can say they're underprivileged or they are poverty stricken. Right? Underprivileged means that those people, they need our help one. So instead of using poor people, we can say the underprivileged, okay? Or maybe you can say those who come from a poverty-stricken country or poverty-stricken family, instead of saying poor family, okay? Cutting down trees without control. You know, this one is normally for development, right? Okay, but if you don't control, it will lead to deforestation. Okay, it will result in deforestation. Level A1. Okay, deforestation. Okay, cannot read and write. Just now I mentioned something, right? Cannot read and write. So what is that? One word. Cannot read and write. Maybe they don't go to school, they don't receive education. So this problem in the thesis statement, we will write illiteracy. You know, digital illiteracy. So we just write illiteracy. Okay, the country will have to solve this problem because we cannot have too many people, okay, who are illiterate in the country, because in this way, then it will actually affect the economy of the country and also the development of the country. Okay, dislike mixing around. You know, they don't want to talk to people. They don't want to mix around. They don't want to go out. Anybody can do this? What do they develop actually? Like sometimes, you know, they are gamers, you know, they are too addicted to gaming already. So they don't want to go out and mix around. They don't want to develop antisocial behavior, clever to see. Yes, okay. They just don't want to socialize with people. They just want to stay at home. Okay. Any more questions or not? 4:12 already. Very tired, right? Okay, because mine is the last class already. But I'm very happy. At least I completed my task. All right. So if you really want to get all this stuff, actually you can. I think it will be shared in YouTube. All that you can actually watch again. All right. And then I would really like to thank all of you, okay, for joining me today. And I have to, I can end it earlier. Let's say if there's no questions, it means all of you are really pro already. You can use very bombastic words and really excellent. Okay, so thank you, my co-host also. Okay, Angie, and also Donzel for giving me this chance, for giving me this opportunity. A1 asked me, do you teach tuition? Yes, okay, but UEC is coming, okay, so I have to recruit new students for next year already. Okay, so anything you can still add me in the Facebook, Vanessa. All right, okay, that's all for today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Kek and Angie as well. Thank you for both of your time today, and yeah, wish you all the best, every student for the coming UEC here. Okay, see you again.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, teacher. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.